Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome to today's episode of Happiness After Codependency. I'm Marshall Berkshire, and I'm your guide back to happiness, well-being, and peace in your life through creating relationships, prosperity, and safety in your world to accomplish that. So that's more of what I do. Glad to be here with you guys today. Today's topic is about knowing our true voice. So the title of it is, Are You Following Your Voice? Or are you following someone else's voice? Very, very important, as it's central to the work of knowing ourselves, the being able to follow our own brilliance, our own intuition, and actually trust, translate our trust in ourselves into action that adds to our well-being and happiness. So that's what we're going to be jumping into today. Before we do that, I need to share this out with the community here real quick, where you can find the community is where you can find additional support, tools, and guidance in this journey in discovering yourself, knowing yourself, loving yourself, and then creating life after codependency, a life with relationships and friendships that are fulfilling, with prosperity and purpose that's satisfying, and ultimately feeling good, and feeling peace, feeling relaxation, feeling joy, feeling play again in your world. So the link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube to join the group. Come and join us. Make sure you check out the rules before you join so you understand how the community works, the way it's structured, because it's different than other communities. So you make sure it's an appropriate fit for you. Okay. So, are you following your voice, or are you following someone else's? In codependency, we have three necessities we're seeking to nurture and care for in our lives. That is the need for safety, the need for connection, and the need for identity, or what I call value identity. We have a sense of worth, we have a sense of belonging, a sense of meaning in our world. And in codependency, we have been conditioned to believe other people's voices, to believe other people's perspectives, other people's opinions, other people as authorities over ourselves. Now, these other people will be our parents, they will be teachers, they will be coaches, they will be me, they will be other people you follow on social media, they will be people you perceive as authorities or as experts. And we in codependency tend to maximize external people this way. We magnify them in a sense of importance, and then ignore our own sense of things, our own read of things. We're like, well, I should feel this way, or I should like that thing, or I should do it this way, or they said it should be like this, and why isn't it? What am I doing wrong? When in reality, maybe that thing isn't what you want or need in your world. So codependency is seeking other people's voices as authority, and then we confuse their voice with our own. This is where we end up experiencing the disappointment of not having fulfillment in our life because we did what somebody else wanted. Or where we absorb what someone else likes, and then we find out we really don't like it. Let me know in the comments below if you've done that, where you're like, I was so into them and I started listening to their music and doing their thing. And then when I got out of the relationship, I realized I can't stand this stuff. I've definitely done that myself. So in codependency, we absorb other people's voices as our own. Their perspectives, their feelings, their opinions, preferences, likes, dislikes, so on and so forth. And then we wonder why we're lost, why we're empty, why we're frustrated, why things aren't working for us. It's because we are not attuned to our own wisdom. We go a little deeper in this. If we have cycles of unhealthy relationships in our lives, or cycles of business or jobs that we can't stand, that we hate, and when we stick with them, we have this pattern of it. We're not listening to ourselves somewhere. We're not listening to our intuitive instinct, our gut, about, is this a yes? Is this a no? Is this a maybe? Is there confusion here? We're not listening to what we actually desire and want, what we respond to with joy and curiosity and desire. And it's like, yeah, I would like that. Versus what we're saying no to based in our body. Our body's like, nope, don't want that. Don't want to touch that. Nope. We're not attuned to that. We are absorbing things outside of ourselves and then confusing that with our own voice and following it and finding the misery, emptiness, frustration, disappointment that we live with there. Our work in exiting codependency is about coming into full contact with our own voice. So what does this mean? So the first step in this is that we got to identify what our programming is. Now that programming is everybody else's voices. It's what they want, what they think, what they prefer. It's them. It's outside of ourselves. And this is going to show up in really specific ways. I should do this. I must do this. I have to be this way. I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't like this. It's shoulds, musts, and have tos that delineate that we're responding to some kind of programming in our world. It is also rules like, well, I'm not supposed to be able to do that. I'm not supposed to like that. I'm not supposed to have this. I'm not supposed to succeed. I'm not supposed to be this or that. It can show up as statements of like I am, statements of I am unworthy. I'm unworthy. I'm unlovable. I'm having trouble with the I ams because I don't bring them up a lot in my mind. Most of my ams are like, I'm lovable, we got this, I'm successful. I've got that converted over. But one of the common ones is, I won't succeed. I'm not allowed to have this. I'm not allowed to be lovable. I'm not allowed to be right. I'm not allowed to be angry. I'm not allowed to be upset. I'm not allowed to be happy. These are all programming components. They're all someone else said we shouldn't, and then we agreed with them and then made that our own voice. So getting in tune with our own voice, our true voice, first, again, starts with that discernment so we can see what is not ours, and then we can start to attune to what is ours. So one's true voice is somatic, meaning it's felt. It's here in the body. It's alive in its responses and perspectives and opinions of the people, places, and things we encounter. And it tends to show up with 5 core expressions. First expression is a yes. Yeah, I would like that. And how do you know you have a yes? How do you know what you're feeling or that thing is a yes for you? Generally, it comes from what we feel. Now, there can be a little confusion here with this, because sometimes when we see something, we feel an exhilaration towards it, and we're like, yeah, that's what I want. We have this big immediate reaction towards it. A lot of times when I have big immediate reactions, it says, yes, that. I slow down, I pause, I acknowledge what's there, and then I observe it for a little bit. The reason I'm doing this is I'm seeing if I'm actually having a codependent reaction towards it, like, yeah, we should get that so it makes me feel better about myself. It improves my value. It would make them happy. It would please them. I could be better because of it, that kind of thing. That is reactive programming. That's codependency talking. That's not a genuine yes. That's a false yes. Generally, those feel like adrenaline. They feel like we need it or we're not going to be valuable or worthy anymore. There's a fear of not getting it because then it means something about me. It's got some significance or meaning about it. So those are telltale signs I look for there. But if I'm listening to my yes response towards something and I feel just a joy, like, I would like that. That's just, beautiful. That's cool. That's interesting. That's exhilarating. That's fun. Now I'm aligned with my yes. That's my voice talking about that thing. It's giving me information and awareness about that. That also goes with our no's. So we have the no response. We have the yes response. We have the no response, which is like, nope, don't want that. This is upsetting to me. I don't enjoy this. This hurts. This is boring. This is empty. That's a no response. And I recommend slowing down on big instant no responses just to see what's there. Because sometimes that can be a reaction to a healthy opportunity, like you're out dating and then someone's paying attention to you and your body's like, whoa, no, that's scary. They're handsome and they're interesting and they're this and that. That no response is likely going to be some programming talking, some pain talking. And then you can pause, acknowledge, and observe it and start to see what else you become aware of. Because maybe you're like, yeah, this guy shows up in safe ways. He's showing he's trustworthy in the way he treats me. I do find him interesting. I would like to get to know him more. Okay. Now you're finding a genuine yes towards it. But sometimes you'll find the no and it's like, no, this is just not aligned for me. I mean, they're cool, but their lifestyle doesn't work for me, or they're not cool and there's no chemistry. You're like, wow, this guy needs to grow up. Things of that nature tend to show up. Then you're having a real no response there. Plus, your gut might be going, something's off here. It doesn't make sense. It's not aligned. That's a great place to slow down and go, yeah, let's go somewhere else where it feels aligned. And let's explore that and see what that's like. So that's a way the no response can show up there. Then you have the maybe response, which is really like, I would like that if these things can be changed about it. Generally, that's a negotiation with a circumstance or an opportunity you have with another person, place, or thing. Then you have confusion. And confusion is a great place to completely stop and go, what do I not understand here? What do I need to understand more of? What questions do I need to ask about what things? And you take your time with confusion, because part of you is sensing something isn't making sense, and we got to determine what that is. Then the fifth component of your voice is going to be the intuitive gut instinct. It's this place by which we get warnings. We go like, hey, don't go there. But it's also the place we get discovery. We get creativity. We get inspiration there. That's a more subtle space that we practice cultivating connection with by becoming more and more present with our innate values. So in the previous episode, we talked about innate value and its priority in our healing of codependency. Because when we connect with our innate value and we trust it, we can start to hear it. And that innate value will go like, hey, this is aligned for us. This will bring us more of what we want and need in our world. That is not aligned with us. It will actually begin to direct your world. But it's a subtle experience at first, because most of the time, the volume knob is turned up to 10 on our programming. And we have to turn up the volume knob on our intuition and our true voice to 10 and lower the knob on programming down to like a 1 or a 2, so we can really start to discern our voice from our programming and care for ourselves effectively there. This is how you start to know yourself. Say, when I'm in contact with my innate value and I'm following it, I start to know what I want. I start to know what I don't want. I start to know what's aligned and what isn't aligned. I start to sense into what to do with particular people, places, and things I'm encountering. I start to know my own direction. And I also start to understand and know better what my own inborn or innate purpose is. What brings me joy? What do I like to do and create and contribute? I also learn what I don't want to be doing. So I learn what to delegate. I learn what to outsource. I learn where to bring other people into my world that can provide those things, because that's their brilliance. That's where they shine. So we start building inner connection as we follow the voice of our innate value. We get clarity to problems, challenges, and questions in our world, because it's my opinion, my experience, and my innate value is going to guide me to solutions. It may take some time. It's going to take some work on some things, but it's going to get me there if I'm attuning to it, trusting it, and opening up to the outcomes with curiosity so I can see what's really going on. This is how we start to produce this thing called a vision. We'll talk about vision in our next episode. But this attunement to our voice I mean, this is where you find your organic boundaries. Like, yep, I want that, and no, I don't want that thing over there. It's where you start to put into use your power for your benefit and your trust for your benefit. So something's off. You trust the offness and you go and do something else. You don't have to figure out if you're right or wrong anymore. It's just more like, that's not aligned. I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to go where it's aligned. Your life becomes a lot simpler because you're able to discern direction in your world based on what matters to you. You're able to see where you want to grow, where you might need to focus on in your own healing, your own personal growth and discovery as well. You're like, yeah, got to work on that right there because it resonates with your innate value. Your innate value is like, hey, Marshall, check this out. Let's work on this. So the voice, your true voice, is not shaming. It's not guilting. It's not condemning. It doesn't should on you. It doesn't demand. It doesn't threaten. It's quite factual. It's just like, this is it. Here's how we feel about it. Here's what this is. Here's what that is. It's kind. It's honest. It's clear. It's consistent. But it's subtle. It's not something we're attuned to. We were trained to externally orient and maximize other people's voices. Our work in the codependency healing system, and generally healing codependency in general, is to really amplify that voice. Learn to hear it. Learn to follow it. And this is a practice, not an event. Just going to put that out there. It's something I'm working on all the time in my own world. And I imagine it's something you guys are experiencing as well as you move through this process. Like, yeah, that I don't want, and this I do want. Now I got to trust it. And when we are trusting the legitimacy of our reactions, we're trusting our voice. When we are trusting our own sense of things, we're trusting our voice. When we're trusting our own lived experience, we're trusting our voice. And if we're trusting our voice, then we can employ our power in a sane way that creates what we want. This is why the codependency healing system is designed the way it is. Because I've learned over a lot of years with a lot of students and a lot of clients, there's a particular order of necessity with the framework that's got to be in place if we're going to have long-lasting healing and freedom from our codependency. I mean, some students only need one or two of these components, but most of them I've learned need all of them. And that's why I created the codependency healing system, is to give you these essential components back into your life of safety, sanity, and sovereignty, and then restoring self-trust, then coming into contact with and identifying with your innate values so you can tune into your voice, follow the vision of who you are. So that question, are you listening to your own voice or someone else's? This is where the work is at this stage. It's like, okay, whose is this? Who does this belong to? Is this mine? Is this someone else's? Is this expectation theirs or mine? Is this their rule or my rule? Whose is it? If it's yours, then you get to do what you want with it. If it's not yours, you return it to them. You return to sender. That's yours. I give that back to them and leave it alone. And you can determine that by the way it feels in your body. And if it's aligned with your own innate value, it doesn't shame you, it doesn't guilt you, it doesn't put you down. It doesn't feel like a should, a must, or a have to. Instead, it's light, it's empowering, it's clarifying. It can be very, very centering. Even if it's something we don't want to deal with, we feel like, yeah, I got to deal with that. And I don't like it, but I'm going to deal with it. That is your true voice talking. So if you want to master this in your world, you want to bring more of this clarity into your world, come join us in the Codependency Healing System that starts here in 2.5-ish weeks. August 16th, link is above on Facebook and below on YouTube. We're going to be taking you through the entire process of restoring your safety, sanity, and sovereignty in your world. So you have your power, you're not crazy anymore, you know what's real, and you're able to care for and soothe your emotions and build community that cares for you and that you can care for them. So you have interdependence there. And then build self-trust self-trust in yourself so that you can rely on yourself, which enhances your safety, your sanity, and your sovereignty. And it helps you put your power, your personal power, your choice and action into use for you. And then I help you come to know, love, and be who you are so that you can go out and create relationships with life and with others and with yourself that matter to you. So I cover the whole gamut with the codependency healing system. It eliminates a lot of the gaps that we have in specialized 8 to 12 week courses that are out there. Gets you everything in place so you can succeed, so you save time and money in your life, because you're not sitting here trying to heal everything. Instead, you're out there actually doing it. So that's why I built that course that way. So come and join us. And we got the 5-day workshop coming up. It starts this Monday. Come join us. The link is above on Facebook and below on YouTube for that as well. Because I'm going to teach you the 4 essential concepts and practices you need to heal your codependency there. So come join us there. You're welcome, Melanie. Thank you guys for your time today. Go out and explore that question. Am I following the voice of someone else, or am I following what's speaking to me? And start that voice discernment so that you can find more well-being and happiness in your life. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.